Hey guys, it is apple season and you know what that means. It's time for a really delicious and decadent apple pastry. So I wanted to share with you one of my easiest pastry recipes because we're gonna be using store-bought puff pastries. So that's gonna save you a ton of time. It's also a really great recipe that you can make all in advance. And then when your guests come over, you just pop them in the oven and they will think you are a domestic goddess for sure. Let me show you how quick and easy it comes together. So the first thing we're gonna do is create our cinnamon sugar. So in a small bowl, you're going to take 2 tablespoons of white sugar and combine that with a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. You can just whisk that up with a fork and set that aside. And then a larger bowl, you're gonna add 1 cup of diced apple. Now I like to use the Fuji apples for these only because I always have them on hand, and I do actually keep the skin on because there's a ton of pectin in that skin. And what that's gonna do when it bakes is it's going to actually congeal and create kind of like a jellied turnover consistency. And then it'll also save you a step. You don't have to peel the apples. Just make sure you wash them well first. Then you're gonna add that cinnamon sugar to the top of the apples and 3 tablespoons of raisins, or you could use currants. Or if you're a raisin hater, you could leave the raisins out. But I keep trying to convert you, so I'm hoping maybe you'll give this one a try. They're really good, come on people. And that's all you have to do. You're just gonna toss that up, and then you can set your filling aside, and then we're gonna work on prepping the pastry. So on a lightly floured surface, you're gonna take out some store-bought pastry. Now, I will leave you a link in the description, the brand that I like to use, because it's actually already scored in the perfect measurements for you, which makes this really easy. And then where it's scored, you're gonna just slice your knife along the scoring to separate these panels. And then you're gonna cut each panel in half. See how easy? That's all you have to do. And you're gonna do it with the second package as well. So it works out perfectly. You get 2 packages in 1 box, and then you just wanna cut them all to that same dimension. Then you're gonna take 1 egg that's been beaten slightly, and then with your pastry brush, you're gonna go in and just paint all along the perimeter of each pastry rectangle. And this is gonna really help us when we go to seal in our apples. So then you're gonna go back to your apple mixture and you're gonna put about 1 tablespoon to 1.5 tablespoons of the apple mixture in the center of each rectangle. And then you're gonna put the second half of the pastry on top. And then you're gonna seal it with the tines of a fork that have been dipped in some flour. And just go ahead and press it gently along each side and see how pretty that looks. That's also gonna help seal it as well. And then you're going to brush the top with more of the egg wash. And then here comes the little decorative part. You're gonna take a sharp knife and make sure that it's not serrated because that'll start to rip and drag the pastry and you want a really nice clean cut. And you're just gonna cut like 4 to 5 little lines over the apple mound. And that is going to allow you to have a nice vent when that pastry starts to bake and bubble up. And then with a spatula that has also been dipped in flour, you want to gently take it and transfer it to a parchment-lined cookie sheet. This is the hardest part, I know. It's really time-consuming, all of this pastry business, but that's okay because you can do this the day before. And then what you're gonna do is you're going to cover your sheet in foil and pop it in the freezer. And then all you have to do when you're ready to serve is preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And then you can pop your tray. Don't worry, it's all cold and frozen, no problem. Just throw it in there. And you're gonna bake from anywhere from 30 to 35 minutes. So I give you that range because if you are doing it when they're frozen, you'll wanna go probably the full 35 minutes. If you've just put it in your fridge overnight, you probably will only go 25 to 30 minutes. Now, even if you're not making this ahead of time, it is a good thing to do to pop these little pastries in your freezer for 10 minutes or the refrigerator for, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes, just because when you're working with the puff pastry, it starts to soften as it warms up. If you have pastry that's not really cold and you put it in the hot oven, it's not gonna retain its shape. And in fact, those apples and the juices can kind of seep out even more. So it is a good thing to make sure that these little pastries are nice and chilled before you put them in a hot oven. Then, when those pastries come out of the oven, you can set them aside and let them cool slightly. And then in a small bowl, you're gonna take a tablespoon of powdered sugar and mix together about a teaspoon and a half. You have to kind of eyeball it. Start with a teaspoon of heavy cream. You just want a nice sort of runny consistency. And then at this stage, you can leave those pastries just sitting on your cookie sheet. And then take your frosting that you've made and with a fork, just scoop some up and give it a nice drizzle, just in a sort of zigzag, haphazard motion. and you'll see you have this beautifully glazed pastry. And then you can transfer them onto a serving platter or cake stand and bring them to the table and watch everybody ooh and ah. And when your guests cut into these, they are the most delicious things. You've got that light, flaky pastry mixed with those warm cinnamon apples, and of course the gooey glaze on top. What could be better, right?